Hello, in this course you will create a realistic project using the latest and greatest ASP.NET Core 6 and learn techniques not covered in the Core 6 for Beginners course, such as pagination, creating custom validation attributes, using complex session data types, using identity in views, and much more. Note that Core 6 knowledge is assumed, and ideally you should watch this course after watching my Core 6 for Beginners course. Please like and subscribe for more free premium courses. Okay, let's get to it. I have Visual Studio 2022 open here, which you should as well. And let's get to it. Create a new project. And web here and MVC web app. I'm gonna call it shopping cart. Okay. And I don't need HTTPS, so uncheck that. .NET 6, and it's all good. Okay, create. And here it is. So first of all, let me get the packages I need. And to do that, I'm gonna go to GitHub and my other course, Core 6 for Beginners, and just copy some stuff from here. So get to this link, or you can go to the repository for this project since it's going to be available obviously when you watch it. Okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna copy that stuff from Core CS Proj and get all of these packages and see what I don't need. So double click here and item group as well actually. And Control KD to format. So newtons of JSON I don't need. EF core identity, EF core that is I do need. Design I need. SQL Server and swashbuckle I don't need. And that looks good. So save that. And let's check dependencies now and packages, and here they are. And I'm just gonna right click and update to see if it needs updating. And it does, so select all packages and update. Okay. So far so good. I'm also gonna go to app settings and add that connection string here right now. So again, from here I'm just gonna copy, so I don't need to write that whole thing. App settings and this one right here. So paste that, and the database is gonna be called shopping cart. Okay. And properties and launch settings, and change this port to 3000 and launch browser false. And so far so good. I'm just gonna initialize the new repo, since as usual I do a commit after each lecture, so you can get to any file or code basically. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a new local only repo. And okay, great. Control KD to format this, and it's all good. Let's now create the database context class. So I'm gonna right click the project and go add new folder and call it infrastructure, and add a class data context. So this is gonna extend DbContext, and let's import it. Okay, and have a constructor, and in here DbContext options, data context options, and base options. Okay. Let's also add a connection in program CS, and I'm just going to copy that from here. So program CS, and let's see this right here. And import this and this. Okay, and let's create the models. So in the models folder right here, I'm gonna add a class and call it product, and I'm gonna have a long ID and string name, and copy that twice, and a string slug and string description. And let me also say disable that is this nullable. Okay, and have a decimal price and long category ID and string image, and we need that category model in here as well, so let's create that. Models add class category, and this is gonna have a long ID and string name and string slug. Okay, so this slug is the URL friendly version of the name. Okay, and in the product model have that category here as well, so that we create that foreign key relationship, right? And let's have some validation here, and again I'm just gonna copy from core, since it's basically the same thing. This core 6, it's a bit of a chore to write. Okay, so for the name I'm gonna have this, and let me just import. For the slug I don't need anything, and then for the description I'm gonna add min length and say 4. Okay, with the error message, minimum length is 2. And now for the price, let me copy again. So this right here, actually all of this. Okay, and import. Okay, and the rest is fine. Let me just space it out a bit. Okay, so far so good. Now let's do the migration now. And before that, let me just add those models in here. So prop db set product products, and import this, and Control D to duplicate, and this is gonna be category and categories. Okay, and I'm missing a closing brace there for some reason. Have an extra one there. Okay, Control KD to format this, and now right click and open in terminal and say .NET EF migrations add initial. Okay, and .NET EF database update. Okay, great. So we have that migrations folder here, and let's check the database that we actually do have it, and shopping cart. Okay, Let's now add SeedData, and again I'm going to copy that file from this course 6 for beginners. And click here to copy. And in infrastructure, add class, call it SeedData. And let's just paste the whole thing. So this is shopping cart now. And let's import this. And let's change this to if not context products any. And for the categories, this is going to be fruits with a capital F and have a slug as well, fruits. Okay. And same for shirts, shirts and slug shirts. And now here I'm going to have apples and also a slug with lowercase a. And description as well, juicy apples. And I'm gonna do this all of this data on video, but you can just get that from the SeedData file for this course if you don't want to type all this out. Up to you. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. Here I'm gonna have bananas. And let's see the slug as well, bananas, fruits, and description actually as well, fresh bananas. And I forgot the image here as well, we have that as well now, apples JPG. And image here is bananas JPG. And copy and paste slug in description here for watermelon and the image as well. So watermelon with lowercase w and juicy watermelon is the description and the image watermelon. And let's have this be 3 for the price for the bananas. The 0.50 is fine for watermelon. And let's copy this whole thing and get rid of this grapefruit here. Actually copy the name and get rid now of the rest. So copy that here, lowercase g, and here for the image. And juicy grapefruit, and the price is gonna be 2. Okay, and now for the shirt, so this is gonna be a white shirt and slug and description, so copy and paste, and the image as well. Okay, so the slug is gonna be white dash shirt, description is gonna be the same as the name, like so, and the image is white shirt JPG. And let me remove all of these and then just copy this one. So this is going to be black shirt and black here and here and here. And the price is going to be $7.99, and Control D, and this is going to be yellow, and here lowercase y, and here and here, and the price is going to be $11.99. And finally gray shirt, and copy and paste paste lowercase g and copy and paste, and the price can be $12.99. Okay, get rid of that comma there, Control KD to format, and that should hopefully do it for this class. Let's now add it to program CS, which again I'm just gonna copy from here. So program CS, and let's see this right here. Okay, copy that and paste it there, semicolon. Okay, so let's see if this actually works. Control F5 and localhost 3000, let's see. Okay, here it is. And let's stop the project and just check that we do have that SeedData. So categories view data, here it is, and products view data. Okay, looking good. Let's now create a partial view for notifications. So in views, and I'm just gonna copy this index from home, paste it into shared, so this one right here, and I'm gonna call it underscore notification partial. Okay, and get rid of this, and I'm gonna say here if temp data success is not null, then Control KD to format, and let me create a div here. So div alert success and notification, like so, and temp data success. So this, and cut and paste that in here, Control KD to format. And I'm missing the double quote there, so Control KD to format now, hopefully. And I have an extra here. Okay, so Control KD to format finally, and copy this for errors. So error, and this is gonna be danger. Okay. And now in layout, and I'm gonna leave all this stuff here, this navigation and the footer, because I'm gonna be using this site.js, for example. So I'm just gonna leave all of that and just change this a bit. I'm gonna have a row here and call div class call, that is, with this render body, Control KD, and the partial. So partial name, and let me just F2 here, like so. Okay, now I want the category links to show up here on the left side, so let's create a view component for that. So in the infrastructure folder, add new folder and call it components, and in it a class categories view component. Okay, so this is gonna extend view component, and let's import that. And here we need that DbContext. So private read only data context and ctor, and let's copy that, get rid of the underscore, and say here that underscore context is equal to context. And now public async task I view component result, invoke async, and fat arrow view await context categories to list async. Okay, and let's import it. Okay, and now let's create that view. So in the shared folder, add a new folder, components, and categories, and the view default. So let me again copy and paste this index in here and just call this default and get rid of everything. So the model is going to be IEnumerable category. And by the way, with this MVC template we're using, we have that namespace here straight away. Okay, so that's why I don't need to add it. Anyway, I'm gonna have a UL list dash group here with the list group item, a class nav dash link, and text dark. Forgot the dot there. Okay, let's see now. Okay, good. And get to this href, and I'm gonna say SPController is gonna be products. Okay, so we don't have it yet, but we will. And SP action is gonna be index, and we're gonna pass the slug. So SP route, and we're gonna pass the slug here as the route parameter, but we'll do that later on when we actually have that controller. So for now, I'm gonna say all products here. So that's for all products, and here I'm gonna have a for each and loop through those categories. So var item in model, and copy this li, Control KD to format, and this here will be item name. Okay, so now in layout, above this call here, I'm gonna have a call 3 and VC categories. Okay, let's see if this works. Control F5. And it doesn't because I'm missing the view import thingy here. So add tag helper and shopping cart. Okay, let's see now. And here it is. Okay. Let's now create the products controller. So in the controllers folder, right click, add controller, and products controller. Okay, and let me just get from this categories view component the context. So paste that there and change the name and import. Okay, great. And I'm also going to be using pagination here, and that's a tag helper from some guy on GitHub. I don't really remember where I got it from, but I do mention it in my MVC3 course. Anyway, you have it in the course files, so I'm just going to get it. Course files, and here it is, so copy that, and in the infrastructure folder, I'm gonna add a new folder and call it tag helpers, and paste that class in there. Okay, let me just change the namespace like so. Anyway, let's get back to the index method. So this is gonna be async task IAction result, And I'm gonna have a string here, which is gonna be the category slug, which defaults to an empty string, so all categories, and int p for page, and that's for that pagination tag helper, and that's gonna be initialized to 1. Okay, and I'm gonna say here int page size 3, so that's how many items to have per page, and view bag page number is gonna be p, and that's the tag helper stuff, and view bag page range is gonna be page size, and view bag category slug is gonna be category slug. Okay, so here I'm gonna use this one method for both all products and category specific products. You can have it in 2 methods as well, but I'm just gonna have it as one here. So anyway, I'm gonna say if category slug is an empty string, that means all products. I'm gonna say view bag total pages, so I need that for the tag helper as well, pagination, and cast to int math ceiling and decimal, and this is gonna be context products count, so count all products and divided by page size. Okay, and I'm gonna return view and say await context products, and let's say order by descending, PID, and skip and import this, p-1, and times page size, but this is supposed to be in parentheses like so, and then the whole thing, and take finally page size and to list async. Okay, let's import that. Control key D to format, looking good. And if it's a category specific product we want, then we're gonna be at this point. And I'm gonna say here category is gonna be equal to await context categories, where category or C slug is equal to category slug, and first or default async, and let's import this and check that it's not null, even though I'm not gonna check for every single thing that can go wrong, but let's check for this. So in case it is null, I'm gonna redirect to action index like so. Okay, now get a product. So var products by category, I'll call it, and that's gonna be equal to context products where p category ID is equal to category ID. Okay, and now we need the total pages for this, so I'm gonna copy and paste and copy that, so products by category count now, and copy this return, paste it here, get rid of this one, and products by category. this is gonna be now as well, right? Okay, that's it for the controller. Let's now move on to the view. In the views folder, I'm just gonna copy this home and rename it to products and get rid of this privacy view. Okay, now in the index view, get rid of everything actually, and the model is gonna be IEnumerable product. And the title, let me actually copy that from this index, is gonna be products, and I'm gonna say here all products. Actually, I'm just gonna say products because that one method returns both all and category specific products. So have a div row here, and now I'm gonna say for each var item in model, and let me create that div outside the block again, so div call for. Okay, and cut and paste that in here. So first of all, I'm gonna have an image for the product, which is gonna come from media, products, and the item image. And I'm gonna give it a class of image-fluid as well, so that it's responsive. Then I have an h4 with the item name. Then have a div, and here I'm gonna say HTML raw and item description. This is supposed to be, and let me see what the problem here is. Okay, so this item description here, and I'm using raw here, HTML raw. That is because I'm gonna be using a WYSIWYG. Okay, so I'm just gonna have it like that straight away, and the P for price. So item price to string C2, and another P with an A, so A BTN, BTN dash primary, and I'm gonna say, let's see here, ASP. Actually, I'm gonna add that later on. For now, let it just be href and hash here, and this is supposed to be add to cart. Okay, so I'll do that once we have that cart controller, and this is good enough for now. And also for that pagination, so down here, I'm gonna say if viewBag total pages is greater than 1. In that case, I want to have that pagination div here, and let me create it outside again. So this is gonna have a class of d-flex v-100, and forgot the dot there. Okay, and justify content center, and here I'm gonna have pagination. So that's the tag helper and the stuff from there. So page count is gonna be viewBag total pages, and page, let's see, target here is gonna be slash products slash and viewBag category slug. Okay, and page number is gonna be viewBag page number, and page range finally is gonna be viewBag page range. And I see that I forgot the @ sign here and here. And let me just bring this down like so, it's a bit easier to see. Okay, Control KD to format. And cut and paste that in here, and this div is supposed to close after this pagination. Okay, so hopefully that's gonna work. And finally, let's add in the default view for the categories view component that route data. So ASP route is gonna be category slug, right? Which is what we're passing right here. So that's gonna be equal to, and I think my mouse battery is dying, but let's just finish this, is gonna be item slug. Okay, let's Control F5 and see if this works. Let's refresh here first of all. And here are the products. I'm just missing the images. But if I go to the second page, for example, here's another 3 and another 2, since I have 8 products total. And if I go to, let's say, just fruits, here they are, and go to the second page, which can't be found for some reason. Okay, so there's a bit of a problem here, which I will address in the next lecture, and also upload these images for the products. Okay. The problem here is that here I'm saying I want to go to, let me actually go here, /products /category slug, and here the URL, as you can see in the bottom left, is a query string. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll stop the project and go to program CS here, and above this route I'm gonna create what's called a dedicated conventional route. Okay, so paste that, and the name is gonna be products, and the pattern is gonna be /products/ and in curly braces category slug optional. Okay, and after that I'm gonna have defaults and say new, and controller is gonna be products, and get rid of that closing parenthesis there and have it here actually. So controller is products and action is index. Control KD to format. Okay, let's check now. So refresh again here. Let me go to all products and now to fruits, and you can see up here it's product/fruits now. And if I click here now, it's fine, and shirts as well, and it's all good. So if I'm at shirts now and I go to all products, I get shirts still, as you can see in the URL here as well, and that is because in the view component here I didn't add that route data. So copy this, and this is just gonna be an empty string. Okay, so Control F5 again, and let's refresh. So I am at shirts, and if I go to all products now, I do get all the products. Okay, and finally for the images, so let's see media products. So I'm gonna, in this wroot folder, create a new folder, media, and init products, and from the course files copy all of these and paste them here. I'm just going to get rid of this kiwi, we don't have that, and the pink shirt. So the others we do have, plus this no image PNG. Okay, and let's see now, Control F5 here, and here they are. Okay, great. In the course 6 for beginners course, I told you that I will show you how to use sessions with complex types in this course, and the time has come. So in the infrastructure folder, I'm gonna say add class and call it SessionExtensions, and this class is gonna be static. Okay, so this class is used to define extension methods for iSession interface. So I'm gonna have two methods in here, public void and static, that is set JSON, I'll call it, and say here this iSession session and string key and object value. Okay, and session set string key and JSON convert, serialize, and let me import, serialize object and value. Okay, so that's to set, and now to get public static t get JSON type t, and this iSession session and the key. And here I'm gonna say var session data is gonna be equal to session get string key and return session data null, and I get all this help here, so I'm just gonna tab. So if session data is null, return default, else deserialize object session data, whatever that data is. So now we can use objects with sessions and serialize them and deserialize them as we need. Okay, so let's add session support in program CS. I'm gonna say here builder services add distributed memory cache, and builder services add session, and options here, options idle timeout, time span, and this is going to be from minutes, and let's say 30, and also set that the cookie is essential to true. Okay, and say here app use session, like so. Okay, so that should do it for that part. Let's now display a small overview of the card here. Okay, so just a quick summary basically. And to do that, first of all, I'm gonna in models create a new folder and call it view models. Okay, and in it a class and call it SmallCartViewModel, like so. And in here I'm gonna have an int number of items and a decimal total amount. Okay, next I'm gonna create a model for the cart items. So in the models folder, add class and call it cart item. And this is gonna have a long product ID, and duplicate this a few times. And the string, which is gonna be product name, and I'm missing a T here now. I say it now, I meant to say. And an end here, which is gonna be quantity, and decimal price, and decimal total. And that's just gonna have a get, and it will return quantity times price. Okay, and I'm missing another curly brace there. And finally, string image. Okay, and then I'm gonna have an empty constructor and one that's not empty. So I'm gonna pass product here like so, and say that product ID is equal to product ID, product name, price to price, quantity 1, and image. Okay, and now to actually display that cart, I'm gonna create a view component. So let's see, I'm gonna copy that categories component and rename it to small cart. That's the wrong one, this one. So small cart, and get rid of that copy there. Okay, let me just have to the name like so, and I don't need this data context actually. Get rid of that as well. And I'm gonna say here public iViewComponent result invoke, and I'm gonna have a list of cart items and call it cart, and let me import, and this is gonna be equal to HTTP context and session, and now get JSON, since we added that method to iSession interface, and that's gonna be a list of cart items, and it will be called cart. Okay, and declare here that small cart view model, small cart VM, and import it. Okay, and so here I'm gonna check if cart is null or cart count is 0. In that case, I'm gonna say that small cart VM is null, else small cart VM is gonna be equal to new, and it has number of items, which is gonna be cart sum and x fat arrow x quantity, and the total amount is gonna be cart sum and x quantity times x price. Okay, and finally return view with small cart VM. Okay, great. And now let's create that view. So here in views components, I'm gonna copy paste categories. and this is now gonna be called SmallCart. And in the default view, the model is gonna be SmallCartViewModel. And let me add that to view imports here. So Control D and view models here. Okay. And just get rid of everything here. So I'm gonna say here if model is not null, else Control KD to format. So else I'm gonna have a P with the class of lead m-0 and say your cart is empty, and cut and paste that in the else here. And if it's not null, I'm gonna have a P here. Let me actually have it here and then cut and paste it. So items in cart and the span with the class of badge and badge primary, which isn't working for some reason. Let me copy and paste here. Okay, here it is. And this is gonna be model and number of items. So copy and paste that in there. And I'm missing that greater than there. Okay. And this is gonna be total and B model total amount to string C2. Okay. And have an A here, btn primary, mb-2. And again, let it just be a hash for now, and I'm gonna modify that once we actually have that cart controller. But it will say view cart and Control D, and this is gonna be danger without this mb2 class, and this is gonna say clear cart. Okay. So let's cut and paste that in here, Control KD, and finally in the layout, let's see, below this VC categories, I'm gonna have a div bg-success mt-3 p-3 and text white, and copy that VC categories, so small-cart. Okay, let's see. Control F5 and refresh. And there it is. Okay, so far so good. Let's now create the cart controller, and before that the view model. So in models, I'm gonna right click and add a class CartViewModel, and this is gonna be a list of cart items, call it cart items, and decimal grand total. Okay. And now for the controller, so right click, add controller, cart controller, and let me copy that data context from here, products, paste that there, and copy paste and import this. And now for the index, let me just go to the small cart and just get this line, because it's a bit of a chore to write, and paste that there, import. Okay, so this is gonna be either the cart, or if it's null, new list cart item, like so. And actually let me copy this as well. This is actually the cart view model and cart VM, and import that as well. And this is gonna be cart items, which is gonna be equal to cart, and this is called grand total here, and that's it. Okay, and finally return the view with cart VM. Okay, let's create that view. Let's see, views, and copy products, rename it to cart and index. So the model is gonna be cart view model, and the title cart overview, and I'm just gonna get rid of everything in here. Let's say here as well cart overview, why not? And now if model cart items count is greater than 0, else, and it's gonna be an H3, but again I'm just gonna do it here because this doesn't work inside code blocks, this Emmet or Zen coding. So display -4 and text -center, and say your cart is empty. Okay, so cut and paste that in here. And now if it's not empty, and again let me just create a table here. So table tr th product, and duplicate that a few times. This is gonna be quantity, and an empty th, this is gonna be to increment or remove the product, and price and total. So let's cut and paste that in here and have a for each here, var item in model cart items, and have a tr and td item product name and quantity, and the td with those links. So this is gonna have classes btn primary and btn sm, and it's gonna say add, or just a plus sign actually. And I'm gonna add the action now, so the action is gonna be add, since we have that controller and we're gonna create that method soon enough, or that action. And ASP route ID, which is what I'll be passing as well, is item and product ID. Okay, and Control D, and the action is gonna be decrease, and minus, and Control D, and this is gonna say remove, and this is gonna be info, and this is gonna be danger, and the SP action is remove. Okay, and TD again, item price to string C2, and for the total here I'm gonna say model cart items where XX product ID is equal to item product ID, and sum XX quantity times X price, and to string C2 as well. Okay, and after that for each have another tr with the class of text right, and call span 4. They're supposed to be in the TD actually, so copy and have that TD there like so. and this will say grand total, and model grand total to string C2. Okay, and one more tr to clear the cart and checkout, even though checkout isn't gonna do anything. But anyway, let's have that td with some classes. And the same thing actually, so let me just copy and paste. So text right and the call span 4, and have an a in here with classes btn and btn danger, and ASP action is gonna be clear, and clear cart, and this one is gonna be checkout, and I'm just gonna have a regular href here, like so, and btn primary. Okay, so once again, this checkout isn't gonna do anything. I think it's redundant. If you want, you can save the cart content to the database in its own table or whatever you want, but I'm not gonna do anything with this href right here, checkout. Okay, so anyway, let's see if this actually works. So Control F5, and if we go to /cart and cart overview, your cart is empty. Okay, and I'm gonna get rid of this cart overview. Actually, it's disgusting, so just get rid of it, and let's see now. Okay, great. Let's now handle the add to cart functionality. So here in the cart controller, I'm gonna copy this index and rename it to add, and this is gonna be async task, and I'm gonna pass that ID here, so long ID. Okay, so first of all, I want to find the product. So I'm gonna say here product is gonna be equal to context away, that is context products find async ID. Okay, and again you can check that this is null and handle that which you would do in an actual project, but because this is a course, I'm not gonna check for every single thing that can go wrong. So I'm just gonna assume nobody's gonna type this URL in with a wrong ID. Okay, so anyway, I want to get this card, then that's correct, and then I want to get the products, this product that is from that cart. So I'm gonna say cart item is gonna be equal to cart where, and p fat arrow p product ID is equal to ID. Okay, and first to default, and I'm just gonna have this as C. Actually, P doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and get rid of this, and I'm gonna say if cart item is null, cart add, and add new cart item product. Okay, so else here, and this is supposed to be lowercase c. So if the cart item is null, add new, and if it's not null, then we just want to increment the quantity, right? So cart item quantity plus equals 1. Okay, then I want to set that session or add to session. So I'm just gonna copy from here, and this is gonna be set JSON, and cart I'll call it, and the value is cart. Okay, and then have temp data success, so that notification message, and the product has been added. Okay, and return to wherever we came from. So this is going to be return redirect, request headers, refer, and toString. Okay. Let's now modify the views because we don't have that add to cart URLs there. So in views, let's see, products index, right here, this add to cart. This is gonna be ASP controller cart and ASP action add and ASP route ID item ID. Okay, so let's see now, Control F5. Okay, so go to all products and add to cart gray shirt, and here it is, items in cart 1, the product has been added, and add it again. Okay, and one yellow shirt. Okay, and by the way, notice that in this pagination in the URL on the bottom left, it's /product/ and then the query string, and that's because I'm using the same method for both all products and category specific products, and all products is an empty string, so you can have that as all, for example, or just have a different action for category specific products. But I have it like this. It looks a bit weird, but it works, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. And let's go to view cart, which doesn't work, so let's go to that view, which is component small cart default, and view cart right here. So again, ASP controller cart, I'm missing equals here, and ASP action index. Okay, and remove this href from here. So Control F5, and let's add this gray shirt again, and one more, and the yellow shirt, and go to view cart now, and here it is. Great. These buttons point to the correct URLs. So if I click this plus here, one more I get, yellow as well, and the grand total keeps changing. Okay, and we want this notification to disappear after a few seconds, and we'll also handle that later on. Okay, so far so good. Let's now handle the rest of the cart functionality. So next up is decrease. Okay, so that's this right here, and I'm actually gonna copy this add method or action. So decrease, and get rid of this, and get the cart. So just get the cart. We know it exists if this decrease action is triggered. Get that specific cart item, that's fine. And now we want to check the quantity. Okay, so if cart item quantity is greater than 1, then we're gonna say minus cart item quantity. Else, if it is 1, then we want to remove that product from the cart. So I'm gonna say cart and remove all, and x product ID, okay, or this can be P. Okay, looking good. And after that, we want to check if there is anything in the cart. So if cart count is 0, then the cart is empty. And then I'm gonna copy and paste that and say here session remove cart. Okay. Else set that session cart again. Okay, and the product has been removed here, and let's return a redirect to action index, so the cart index. Okay, let's also do remove now, so that's this button right here, so /remove/SumID, and copy and paste, so remove. Okay, so first of all get the cart, and then copy that line, paste it here, so remove from the cart this product, and then we need to check the cart count, so get rid of this, and the same thing here as we just had, either remove the cart completely or reset it, and the message is fine and the redirect is fine as well. Okay, and finally clear, so let's copy paste, so that's this clear cart right here, and here the link is missing, the URL that is, so I'm gonna add it in a bit. Let's just do this, so clear, and this isn't gonna be async, so just like that, no ID, and we just need this context session remove cart and redirect to action. Okay, so let's fix this, and why is this button down like so? Let's see, this one has this MB2, let's get rid of it. Oh, that's why. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. So in let's see, small car default, okay, get rid of this href, and ASP controller is cart, and ASP action is clear, and again I'll get rid of that, and control F5, and let's see what happens now. Let's just go to all products. Okay, so gray shirt, here it is, another one yellow, and some grapefruit as well, and some bananas, why not? And if I go to view cart, first of all, here they are, so this works from before, we know, and let's see now this decrease, and it does work, and the grand total here changes as well. And let's remove. Okay, great, and remove this one as well, so now we have these two, which is correct, and let's go to clear cart here or here, is the same URL, and great. And now it's time for the admin area, so let's get to that. I'm gonna right click the project and add new folder, call it areas, and another folder, admin, and another folder, controllers, and in here add the controller, ProductsController. Okay, so it's the same name as the one we have here, this one, but this one is for the area, so I'm gonna say here area admin, and then it's fine. Okay, so let me copy from here since I have it open already, so copy and paste. We need that data context for sure. Okay, and let's add the routing support for areas in program CS, so Control-Shift-T to get to file, program CS, and let's see this right here, copy and paste it here, and this name will be areas, and controller, the default one is products. Okay, and just add here area column exists slash controller and so on. Okay, that should do it hopefully. And now back to this admin products controller. So let's do index, and for that I'm gonna copy again from products here because it's kind of the same thing. So just paste that whole action there, and here we just need all the products. Okay, we don't care about the category. So I'm just gonna have this int p here for page, and I don't need this category slug. These three are fine. I also need total pages, so copy from there and paste it there. And now just return the view, which is this one. So copy and paste and get rid of everything. And import this. Okay, except that we need to include the category as well. So squeeze in here include, and p fat arrow p category. Okay, and let's have it like so, so it's a bit more readable. Okay, and let me just have the dot there actually instead of there. Okay, great. Now for the view, let's create it. So right click and add view, eraser view, index, and this is gonna be a list. Model class is product, data context this one. Okay, let's see. Hopefully it does it for us. Oh, I have an extra curly brace there. Okay, so again, list and product and data context, and here it is. Let's just make sure it's in the correct place. So admin views products index. Okay, great. Let's see now. Let's get rid of this here. And let's also view imports and view start, copy those for the admin area. So in views here, let's see now. Okay, and let's also copy the layout actually, because it's going to be different for the admin. So just copy this whole shared folder and paste it here and get rid of the components. And I'm going to leave the rest. Okay. So this is going to say products here and here as well. This create new is fine. And now for the table, Control KD to format this a bit. So this is gonna be th name, and duplicate this a few times. So we need name, price, category, and the image, and an empty th. Okay, like so, and get rid of this. So this is gonna be item name, and copy paste that here. This is gonna be price to string C2. Get rid of that. Copy again. This is gonna be item category name. Okay. and the image. That's in /media/products. Have a double slash there, and item image, and give it a width of 100. Okay, and now for the links, so get rid of these. This one is fine, this one is fine, and this one is fine as well, except I'm gonna give it a class of confirm deletion, just so we get a bit of a pop-up before we delete. And now for the pagination, let me go to views index here and just copy this whole thing. Actually, just the div, I don't need the if. I know there's more than one page. So have that there, Control KD, and hopefully this works. Let's see, Control F5 and go to /admin. Okay, so here it is, and the second page and the third page, but this points to /products, so I need to change the links here a bit. Just this one actually, so /admin/products. And while I'm here, let's also change the layout for admin. So let's see, in shared layout, I'm gonna say admin area here for the title, just to differentiate it a bit. And I'm gonna leave everything the same outside of this container, just gonna change that. And all I need really is this div call, so get rid of these. And looks good, so Control F5. Let's actually get rid of this footer as well, it doesn't make any sense. So Control F5 again, and go to /admin. Okay, so let's see if this actually works as well, the pagination, and it does. Okay, great. And let me also actually get rid of these links here. And have target blank here as well. Okay, Control F5 again. And great. I want to add product functionality, but when adding products, I want to be able to upload images as well, and I want to validate those images. So for that, I'm gonna create some custom validation. Okay, so in the infrastructure folder, right click and add a new folder and call it validation, and add a class FileExtensionAttribute. Okay, and this is gonna extend validation attribute, and import this. Okay, so what I want to do is check for extensions. Okay, so I'm gonna say here protected override validation result. So that's the way to do it, and I just tabbed there. So we do need this validation context, but we also need the value, which is going to be an object. So object value and validation context. Okay, and here I'm going to say if value is iForm file, so this iForm file, and whenever you don't know something, just hover over it and see what it says. So it represents a file sent with the HTTP request. Okay, so and that's that. And var extension is gonna be path and get extension file name, like so. And now for the allowed extensions, I'm gonna have an array of strings. Okay, call it extensions, and this is gonna be JPG and let's say PNG. Okay, and the bool result extensions any x, and extension ends with x. Okay, and now if not result, so if it doesn't end with any of those, I'm gonna return new validation result and say allowed extensions are JPG and PNG, even though we don't really have PNG, but anyway. And if it's all good, I'm gonna return validation result success. Okay, and this is the return type, and the method itself is valid. Okay, got a bit carried away with the tabbing there, but this looks good. So the last thing I need to change is the product model. Control-Shift-T and product, and here have another prop, and this is gonna be iForm file, and I'm gonna call it image upload, but I don't want this to be mapped, so I'm gonna say not mapped, and to apply that attribute, validation attribute I just created, I'm gonna say here file extension. Okay, so let's see, import that, and that's it. So as with the view components and so on, it's the class name without this attribute suffix. Okay, let's now handle create product, and for that, first of all, I'm going to need another dependency, so copy this one actually, and this is going to be iWebHost environment, and name underscore webhost environment. Let me just copy and paste that like so, and copy and paste like so, and now on to create. So let me copy this index, and this isn't going to be async, so just get rid of that like so, and create, get rid of this as well. Okay, so I'm just going to return the view, but I need to create the select list as well for the categories. So I'm going to say view bag categories, and that's going to be equal to new select list, and let's import that. And so context categories and ID and name. Okay, let's create the view. So add view, razor view, create product. Okay, Control KD to format this a bit. So this can say create product, and get rid of this. And let's see what we have here. Model only is fine. So we have the name here, slug we don't want. Description we do want, but it's supposed to be a text area. So text area, and here as well, close it. Okay, we do want the price, and then for categories, so let me just have a label here, categories like so, and this ASP4 category ID is fine, but ASP items is gonna be categories, since that's what I called it in the action method. And inside I'm gonna have an option with a value of 0, just to make sure something is chosen. So choose a category, okay, and let's add validation for that as well. So this span, paste that here, and this is gonna be category ID. Okay, now for the image, this is gonna be image upload, okay, and the validation is gonna be for image upload, and I want to have a preview of the image I'm uploading, so I'm gonna have an image here and no source, but its ID will be image preview, img preview, and give it a class of pt2, so some top padding, and get rid of this. Actually, we don't need those, okay, and let's have this be a proper button. So button btn primary, and create, get rid of that input. And now I have this section scripts here, which was created by Visual Studio when I created the view. And this is going to get the validation scripts partial, so that's the way to get it, even though I'm not using that. And in it is, let's see, this jQuery validate, okay, so that's what you get with the MVC template. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there just so you have it as a reference, but I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna have script tags. And so this section scripts is gonna show up, as you hopefully know from my other course, right here, okay, in the layout, in the main layout. So here I'm just gonna use some jQuery and ID image upload. So this, because of ASP4 here, the ID as well is gonna be image upload, right? And change and function read URL and pass this. Okay, and for this to actually work, this read URL that is, and for those notifications to disappear as well, I have some jQuery written already. So it's just a bit of jQuery, it's nothing special, so I'm just gonna copy paste it here in the course file as you have it. So I'm just gonna copy that and wroot here, JS, IJS, just paste that, which isn't happening for some reason. Okay. And so here you can see on ready, this notification is just gonna fade out after 2 seconds, so that's that temp data success we have. And this is just to confirm deletion. That's the class we apply to the delete for admin. And this is the read URL thingy that's gonna load the image to preview it, okay? So anyway, I'm just gonna have that like so, and let's see if that works. Control F5, and if I go to /admin, and create new, and here's the whole shebang. So here are the categories, and let's just see the image, just the preview if it works, and it does. Here it is. Okay, great. And the button is just messed up. Let's see what's up with that. Oh, I'm missing a dash here. Okay, so that should do it. Okay, so far so good. Let's now handle create post. So I'm gonna copy this get one and just get this task async from there. Okay, so this is gonna be post and validate anti-forgery token, and it will receive the product. Okay, import that, and I still need this view by categories, but I'm gonna add here what's supposed to be pre-selected, which is product category ID. Okay, so first of all I'm gonna check if the model state is valid. So if it is, first of all I need that slug. Okay, I need to create that slug, that is. So I'm gonna say product name and to lower, and I also want to replace spaces with dashes. Okay, the next thing to do is to check if the product already exists. So I'm gonna say var slug await context products first or default async, and in here say where p slug is equal to product slug. Okay, so if this slug is not null, I'm gonna say model state add model error, and the product already exists. Okay, and return the view with the product. Otherwise we're gonna be at this point. So first of all I'm gonna declare image name, and now I'm gonna say if product image upload is not null. Okay, so if something is uploaded, then I'm gonna say string uploads there, define that first of all, and that's gonna be path combine and web host environment, web root path, and media/products. Okay, and the image name is gonna be, and I'm gonna append the GUID to the name because I don't want to accidentally delete an image. So I'm gonna say GUID, new GUID to string, plus underscore plus product image upload and file name. Okay, and now I'm gonna say string file path is gonna be equal to path combine uploads there and image name, like so, and have a file stream fs that's gonna be equal to new file stream with the file path and file mode create. Okay, and await product image upload, copy to async fs, and close the file stream, like so. And I'm gonna say here product image is gonna be equal to image name, and I'm actually gonna have that all in here because we have the default for the image, so there's no need now for the else. So if this isn't happening, then the default is no image png. Okay, for the image name. And now I'm gonna say context add product and await context save changes async. Okay, now for the temp data, and let me just get that from somewhere. So products here, I guess, or the cart rather. Okay, copy that and paste that there. So the product has been created, and redirect to index. Let's just copy that as well if possible, and it is. And copy this return view product if the model state is not valid. Okay, so this looks good to me. Now let's see if it actually works. Control F5. Okay, and let's go to create here. And let's also just create, I'm gonna create it for you guys, just a text document here. So test or whatever, really, just to have something to upload that's not an image and that's not too big as well. So let's just go to create here. Okay, so this is fine here, and choose a category actually isn't happening. Let's see why. Let me just quickly check the product model, and there's no validation here, so that's why. Let me just copy this and paste it here, and let's just have that required in there, just for some variety, and the range is gonna be from 1, and this is gonna be int max value, and say you must choose a category, right? And this is supposed to be here for the category ID. So let's just try again, make sure it works, and go to create again. Okay, create, and here it is. Great. And let's also get that text file. Okay, and create. And the problem is that I don't have the ang type here for the form. Okay, so let's try now. Go to create again and create. Okay, but if I fill out all of these and choose the text file, and here it is, allowed extensions are JPG and PNG, and these values are saved. Okay, so let's actually add a proper product. So let's say kiwi and fresh kiwi, and price is 3, and category fruits, and the image is gonna be kiwi. Okay, and create, and the product has been created, and it disappears after 2 seconds, and here it is, and it's all good. Okay, and let's also add a WYSIWYG to this to the create view. So I'm gonna search for CK editor, a CK editor CDN actually. I think that's gonna get me there. Okay, and I'm gonna go with this CK editor 4, okay, because it's just easier to implement. So in create here, above the script tags, add that CDN, and let's see what else do we need. This. Okay, so have that there, and let me just bring it back, and this is gonna be description for the text area, so just copy that, and that should hopefully do it. Let's see again. Okay, create new again, and here it is. Great. So let's add a pink shirt now, and a pink shirt, and let's just say this is an H3, for example. Okay, and price is 13, category shirts, and pink shirt, and create, and here it is. And let's also just check our images here in the project. So media products, and here are the new images with that GUID. Okay. Let's now handle edit, both get and post, hopefully. So I'm gonna copy this create, and paste that there. So this is gonna be edit, and I will have the ID here, and it's gonna be async, so let me just copy that as well, like so. And let's first get the product. So product is gonna be await context products find async ID, and I do need these categories with the pre-selected value, which is gonna be product category ID, and then I'm returning the view with the product. Okay, and let's create that view, and for that I'm just gonna copy paste this create, so edit, since it's kind of the same thing. Just that this is gonna say edit, and copy that here, and I am gonna pass a hidden input, so input hidden, and that's gonna be ASP4 image. Okay, and these are fine. And by the way, I think in the course 6 for beginners I used the value here when editing, and that was redundant, ASP4, so this right here does it all. I guess I was thinking I was using a lesser technology there for a minute, but ASP is the best and does it all for you basically, so no need for that. And anyway, I'm also gonna add here the current image just to see it. So let me copy this, for example, and this label will say current image. Get rid of this span and this preview here, and just have an image here. So source is /media products and model image, and width is gonna be 200. Okay, and let's change this to edit, and the rest is fine. So let's just quickly say that this actually works. And also I'm gonna get rid of this details from admin index here, product index, because it's the same as edit. Okay, so no point in having it really. And here it is, it auto refreshed. So if I go to edit this pink shirt, I see everything but the current image for some reason. And that's because I'm missing that quote there. So let's see now, and here it is, current image. Okay, great, let's stop the project and do post. So for post, I'm just gonna copy this post create, since it's kind of the same thing basically, so add it here. But I will be passing the ID here as well, since let's have a look at the form, right click inspect, and you can see that the action is /edit /some ID. So I'll use that, and I will have these categories here, and if model state is valid, check for the slug that it exists. Okay, and then if image upload is not null, do this. And finally, this is going to be context update. And this is going to be edited. And I'm going to get rid of this return here. So I'm going to return the view with the product regardless. Okay. So let's see if this works. And let's refresh here. Okay, so let's say pink shirt 2, and this is gonna be 15. Shirts is fine, and the image is fine as well. Edit, and here it is changed. Okay, great. And I just noticed that actually we don't have that no image PNG here, and I thought we had that as a default, but let me go to Control-Shift-T and product. And right here we don't have any default. So let me say here no image PNG. Okay, like so. And let's just re-import this. Okay, let's try again just to add a product without any image, just to make sure we do get that that no image. Alright, so just like so. Okay, and it's all good. And finally, let's handle delete. So I'm gonna copy this create. Actually, I'm gonna copy edit because of this async thingy. Okay, and delete long ID, that's good. So first of all, we get the product. Okay, so again, I'm gonna assume that the product does exist, and if so, I want to check for that image name. So if not string equals product image, no image PNG. In that case, if it exists, I want to remove it since I'm deleting the product. And let me copy this string uploads there and paste that again, and this is gonna be old image path, which is uploads there, and product image. So now if file exists, let me just write it myself. So system.io file exists, old image path. Let me copy this whole thing. Then I'm gonna say delete old image path. Okay, so that's it for the image, and we don't need these categories here anymore. And I'm gonna say context products remove product and await context save changes async. Okay, and have that temp data success. So the product has been deleted, and return, let's see, redirect to index. If we can copy, and we can from there. Okay, and also since we're not using it in notification partial, let me get rid of this error. Okay, so back in here, this looks good. Let's see if it works. Control F5. and refresh. Okay, let's see, let's delete this one, and we get that confirm deletion alert from that site.js file. Okay, and it's deleted. Okay, and I'm not gonna remove this A here and this test one because there is no image, and I'm gonna drop the database regardless in the next video or lecture. Let's actually remove these two as well, just to make sure that the images get deleted. So delete this kiwi. Okay, and let's check here. And there's no kiwi anymore, so we just have this one GUID, which is the pink shirt. So delete that as well. And great, okay. Let's now add identity. And I told you in the course 6 for beginners that I will show you how to make integers primary keys for users. But I'm not going to do that actually because it's a chore, and then you need to modify the code along the way, for example, if you're using roles and so on. So it's just a chore, and you should just leave it as it is. It's a GUID as a string, and just let it be. Okay, but I will show you how to add a custom column to the users table. So anyway, let's get to it. In the course 6 for beginners, I used a separate database context, but now I won't. I'm going to use the same one. So I'm going to go to data context here and say here, instead of DbContext, identity DbContext. Okay. So in an actual project, you will use this straight away, but I'm doing it this way because it's a course. Okay, so anyway, that's that. But for the field, that custom column actually, I'm gonna create in the models folder a new model called app user. And this is gonna extend identity user. Okay, so import that, and I'm gonna say here prop string and occupation, for example. So we'll see if that works. And because of this, now I need to specify here that I'm using app user. Okay. And before we do the migration, let's go to program CS and add what we need here. So in this course 6 for beginners, I'm just going to copy from there, so I don't need to write the whole thing again. So it's this, and paste that, let's say, here, and add identity. Okay, and make sure to have this as app user now, and this is actually going to be data context. Okay, and import this as well. Okay, and let's see, use authorization, and we need to have here app use authentication as well, and in this specific order. Okay, so now let's drop the database. I'm gonna open in terminal and say .NET EF database drop --force. Okay, successfully dropped, as we can see here. And now let's add a new migration. So .NET EF migrations, add second, we'll call it. Okay. And .NET EF database update. Okay. And let's check here in the migrations folder this second. And let's see if we have our occupation. And we do, here it is. Okay, great. Let's now create the account controller so that we can register a user and log them in. And I'm going to speed through this a bit because I did this already in the course 6 for beginners. Okay, so add controller, account controller, And I'm gonna see what I can use from course 6 here. So in admin, let's see controllers and users. And before that, actually, we need some models. So let me copy that first of all. We need this user model. So copy that, and in models, add class user, and just copy paste the whole shebang. So this is shopping cart. And in the view models, add class, and this is gonna be login view model. Okay, and let's see, here it is, and copy that and paste it here, and this is gonna be shopping cart. Okay, and now in the account controller, so we don't need this index. And let's see what we have here. I'm gonna copy this. And this is now gonna be app user, okay? So using, and copy and paste here for the constructor, and this is gonna be app user as well. Okay, and also let me duplicate this because it's in two controllers. And go to controllers and account, and get the sign-in manager as well. So copy that and paste it here, and just replace this whole thing. Should have done that straight away, but didn't. Okay, so user manager and sign-in manager, sign-in manager. And make sure to replace all these as well. Okay. Okay, so far so good. So now let's create, and for that I'm gonna copy this create, get, and post. And make sure to have app user here and here. And if result succeeded, I'm gonna redirect to /admin/products. Okay, so as soon as I register, I'm just gonna go there, and the rest is fine, it seems. So for the views, let's go to views and add folder account, and let me actually just copy this one or whichever one. So this is gonna be create, and let's copy from here. So let me go to views and users and create here, and copy that. Okay, don't need this back to list, and let's see what else. So we don't need this area now, and the rest is hopefully fine. So let's just make sure that this works. Okay, so if I go to account create, here it is, and admin Gmail pass. Okay, seems to have worked. Let's just make sure. Check users here. And here it is, great. Okay. And let's also log in and log out. So we're finished with the admin area here. So let's go to core and controllers account. And let's see, here is login. So copy and paste that. And import. Okay. And for the view, let's see. Copy paste that one. Login. And let's see. Core and views account login. So copy and paste that here. And let's just see if there's anything that needs to be changed here. Seems there isn't. Okay, and let's add logout as well. Right here, copy and paste that. Okay, so that's that finally. Hopefully it should work. And now for the thing I wanted to show you is how to use identity in views. So in a layout, let's see, right here. And before I forget, actually, let's just go to admin, the ProductsController that is, and just have authorize here. Okay, so anyway, here in layout now, after this li here, I'm gonna say if and user identity and question mark and is authenticated, or false. So if the user is authenticated, which is admin in our case, I'm gonna copy this li, Control KD to format this a bit. And the area is admin, controller is products, action is index. And I'm just going to give it a class of btn primary, just so it's a bit different to the others. And this will say products. Okay. And also another link to logout. So log out, and this is gonna be danger, and no area, and this is account, and log out, and this will say hi, actually user identity name, which is the username, and log out. Okay. And one other thing which I wanted to show you in the course 6 for beginners actually, but I forgot, is how to check if a user is in role here in the view. So even though I don't have any roles, I'm just gonna check for it just to show you how to do it. So if user is in role, okay, and then whatever it is, so say admin, or for example user is in role editor. So again, I don't have any roles, so this isn't really gonna work, but this is the way to do it if you did have roles. And then for example have this even though again I'm not gonna have it because I don't have any roles. Okay, and have an else here to log in if the user is not logged in. So let me copy this and paste, and this can be success just so it's different. So action is login, and this will say login. Okay, so let's see now, Control F5, and let's just go to the home page to see what's up. And I'm not logged in, so if I go to /admin, I'm taken to login. Okay, so if I do login, I'm taken to the admin area, which is fine, we know this already. But the point here is now that I get that link here because I'm logged in, and hi admin, which is the username, and log out. Okay, so if I click that, I'm logged out. And let's just get to the admin area from here as well, products, and here it is. Okay.